Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. We talk to people throughout the Wadsworth community and the county. We've done shows in the past with Judge McIlvain for the Wadsworth Municipal Court, and also Habitat for Humanity. And they got the roof on this weekend for an update, and they also have the basement dug on the property next door. Adrianne Patrick is with us today, and Adrianne, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk about Main Street Wadsworth.
Absolutely, the pleasure's all mine.
How would you describe Main Street Wadsworth?
It is a downtown district. It is a historic place. It's the heart of our community, and it is truly the place where our community loves to come together.
Is there a particular geographical boundary for the organization?
That's a great question. So our downtown is pretty much what you would imagine it to be. It's where the historic buildings end. So it goes as far north as City Hall and the Johnson House Museum, and as far west as St. Mark's Church, which is the oldest building in downtown, to the south, right past where you see the subway building and our historic mural there, and as far east as the library and the Strand Theater.
Well, I appreciate that. That certainly does give us an idea of what areas and what businesses you cover. How long has Main Street Wadsworth been in existence?
So it started out as an events-based organization called Downtown Wadsworth, Inc., which was in existence for many years before now. And then in 2015, a lot of city officials wanted to see us really take the downtown to a new level. So we applied to Heritage Ohio, which is the Main Street supervisor for the state of Ohio, and Wadsworth was accepted as Ohio's 22nd Main Street community in March of 2016. So we have been a Main Street for 5 years now.
I would think that there would, with all the cities in Ohio, I'm kind of surprised that only 22 are in this particular organization.
It's a very difficult accreditation to receive, so you really have to have all of your ducks in a row as a community, and Wadsworth is one of those communities. We have the right combination of economic development factors that made our community eligible for the Main Street accreditation. So we are actually state accredited by Ohio and also nationally accredited by Main Street America. So it's an enormous honor. There are only about 800 or 900 Main Streets across the entire United States, and Wadsworth is only one of 22 in Ohio.
That's remarkable indeed. What are some of the objectives of Main Street Wadsworth?
Right, great question. So our goal is preservation-based economic development. And what that means is using what our community already has, our historic buildings, our small business community, our sense of place, and really turning it into an economic engine for the community. And so what does that mean? That means improving the design factors of the downtown, beautification, for example, economic vitality, which means taking care of our existing businesses, but also attracting new businesses to the downtown district. And that means events. Putting on events that bring the community together, that promote local tourism and bring people from outside of the community to see what Wadsworth is all about. And then of course we have grant programs that help the downtown businesses and the building owners to improve their historic buildings. And then fun things that attract people downtown, like our art mural project. We now have 9 art murals on the walls downtown, and that's just another great thing that makes our downtown unique.
It's interesting you mentioned about the improvement of the buildings outside and facility. There's a brickwork. My wife and I noticed that brickwork is being done on several buildings on Main.
Yes, so thanks to a lot of great grant programs, some through the City of Wadsworth, some from Heritage Ohio and Columbus, the building owners are able to take advantage of matching grants, which basically pays for about half of the work they want to do to their building exteriors. That can be paint, that can be awnings, that can be signage, all kinds of different things. But what you're referring to right now, what's going on at 112 Main Street, which used to be 3 Roses, the new owner is actually taking the building back to what it looked like in the 1920s. So she is doing an entire facade facelift of that building. She's even switching where the window and the door used to be. So if you look at historic pictures, black and white photos back 100 years ago, the building is going to look like that with a new coat of paint. But we do have some building owners downtown who are very passionate about preserving their buildings, and we want to support that.
I'm sure being involved. How long have you been in Main Street Wadsworth? That was my next question.
Sure. So I will be executive director for 5 years come this May. May 15th of 2017 was my first day, and it's the best job in the world, and I feel so blessed to be here.
Congratulations on your 5-year anniversary coming up, but I imagine that every day is different.
every day is very, very different. That's the nature of this job. You never know what's going to happen from day to day. For example, over there we see a Christmas tree that's about 30 feet in the air as they're lifting it onto its place where we're going to be installing the Christmas tree for this holiday season. So there's always something happening downtown. There's always something new and exciting. There's always a new business coming in, always a new event to look forward to. So every day is definitely different.
Very festive here with the banners, with the garland, with the lights.
Yes, this is
and now the trees.
It's one of our favorite days of the year, and this downtown always looks beautiful, and we have to thank the city for that. We have to thank the Bud and Bloom Garden Club for that. Zach Buddorf, who does such a beautiful job designing everything. So many organizations and people from our community really come together to do special things downtown, and we're just so grateful for that.
It's just unbelievable as the summer, all the flowers and the pots and the hanging baskets, and City Hall. They had tremendous baskets there, big crocks, and beautiful flowers.
Yes, all you have to do is go online to look at pictures from this summer to see just what a gorgeous job all of those folks did. We had palm trees planted downtown, we had banana trees planted downtown, and there's a funny story behind that. So Zach Buddorf, who is kind of the landscape architect behind all of that, when the pandemic happened and a lot of people were not able to travel because of the pandemic, we weren't able to take those tropical vacations, he decided to bring the tropics to downtown so the community could enjoy it. So that is why we had this kind of tropical theme this past summer in the downtown, which I think was really genius, and I don't know of any other downtown or community that did that.
No, very, very unique and
So
really
creative.
puts you in the mood. Yes, very, very much so. What about the merchants? What do they feel about the organization, and how excited they get? And we'll talk about First Fridays coming up. How excited they get for First Fridays?
Sure. So, we have a lot of businesses in the downtown. For only being about 4 blocks in the downtown, we have about 70 businesses. So it's really a microcosm local economy here downtown. Of those 70 businesses, about 40 of them are services, and about 15 restaurants, and about 15 merchants, retailers. So of that combination, about 20 to 30 of the retailers and restaurants are open during the First Friday events. And, it's really a great solution to the problem a lot of people have in every downtown across the community and across the country, which is everyone has different open hours. So you come downtown and one place is open and one place is closed, and you were hoping to go to both. But First Friday really fixes that because it makes everyone open at the same time. And, from the feedback we've gotten from the merchants, some events are better than others, but we've had some tell us that the amount of money that they make during a First Friday sometimes covers their rent for the entire month. So that's a really good story for us, and it's the reason we keep on doing it, is to support our small businesses.
I would imagine that like some communities, even in Ohio and elsewhere, the downtowns have been neglected.
So everyone has driven through those downtowns that are boarded up, right? Everyone has driven through those downtowns that make you feel sad because they've been forgotten. They're not taken care of. The businesses have left. The malls came in. Suburbia came in, the strip malls came in, big box stores moved in, and it really killed the small downtowns. So it really takes a community coming together, like Wadsworth has, to preserve that downtown and make it a vibrant gathering place. And I think Wadsworth has accomplished that.
You've mentioned coronavirus. How have you reacted to that, and has it given more outlets to get things done?
Sure, gosh, that was such a terrible, terrible time for everyone. The small businesses especially were just so hard hit. But they were a very persistent group of people. These people have been through all kinds of ups and downs. Being a small business owner is not easy to begin with. And so they used a lot of creative means to try and get things done. Our organization did virtual events when the shutdown happened. We encouraged people to buy gift cards online for the businesses. We had all sorts of different ideas for encouraging people to come downtown when they could and shop. If they couldn't go in the restaurant, curbside delivery, for example, was something we encouraged. We had a gift card program where we would promote providing a free gift card if someone bought a gift card. So we tried all kinds of different things. At the end of the year in 2020, we had 8 holiday events instead of 1. And that really accomplished our goal of promoting social distancing, having fewer people per event, but then also giving the merchants 8 opportunities to welcome the community through their doors. So everyone survived 2020. We actually had 6 new businesses open downtown during the pandemic. So we're very proud of that. We're very proud of our merchants.
That really is remarkable with all obstacles and all the challenges to have new businesses open up during this period. Just unbelievable.
It is amazing, and since we became a Main Street in 2016, we've actually seen over 25 new small businesses open in the downtown, and that's reflected in over 100 new jobs. We've seen about $2 million in private-public partnerships, about $500,000 in grant funding, and 12,000 volunteer hours donated by the community. So there are just so many wonderful, wonderful things about this downtown, and it's all because of our community being so supportive.
But that helps the city government, the taxes being paid, it helps the schools. Many of those people live here and pay taxes or rent, and
Absolutely.
it really does really go around and help everyone involved.
It's true, and from an economic development perspective, people want to move to a community that has a vibrant downtown. You want to have somewhere fun to go. You want to have a fun place to shop and to meet people and to gather and to show off to visitors when they come in town. And so that is what our downtown is. That's what it's becoming.
Does it help you to have that 5 years coming up in the spring experience and background to kind of predict what may happen or what may not happen, planning the month ahead? I would think I think would be very helpful.
You know, a year ago I would have said yes, but then the pandemic happened. So, you know, you just never know what's going to happen. But, you know, in my training as an attorney, you know, you're not really prepared for all the different challenges of nonprofit work. It's a very different animal. And it's something where you really have to learn on the go. So it was really trial by fire, drinking from a fire hose, and it's been a very, very interesting 5 years, but I think we have a really good momentum going. We have a lot of the right people in the right seats to make good decisions for our community, and I'm just really excited for the future.
How is Main Street Wadsworth organized? Do you have a board of directors possibly?
We do. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have a board of directors made up of 15 community members, and those are folks such as the mayor, Robin Laba. We have Dr. Andy Hill, the superintendent of the schools, on the board, and a bunch of other people from the community that represent different sectors of the community. So you might just have residents, or you might have business owners. It's just a variety. It really represents a cross-section of the community on our board. And then there are 2 staff members, myself. I'm the full-time staff, and then I do have an assistant, Terry Peters, who's our amazing project coordinator, and she's our part-time staff.
Does it help? Does it help with your background to kind of look ahead? Like maybe in September you were thinking about November, December. Does it assist you a little bit to look ahead and plan for the future?
Oh yes, so we're always planning a year in advance.
Oh.
So that might not always be obvious to the community, but our organization is always looking out and planning ahead 3 months, 6 months, 9, 12 months. So we actually have all of our 2022 events planned already. So it's only, you know, November, December of 2021 right now. So a lot of work goes into what we do. It's a lot of behind the scenes hustling, but we definitely do plan things in advance.
How about those little details? Sometimes sometimes a pain in the neck to get everything tied together and going in the right direction.
Absolutely. It's a challenge every organization, every business, every nonprofit, faces. There are always details to be handled, and there are always unexpected things that come up. But as an organization, you just have to be prepared to roll with the punches, and that's what we do.
It's unfortunate. We have had some businesses close in the last 6 months. Drew's parents, Bixer Electric, closed. We had an art shop with a prominent artist in the area. What do you do to try to get new people in?
Sure. Well, the reality is, folks retire and folks move on. And, we're sad to see them go, but we understand their circumstances, and there are different reasons that businesses close. In my experience, it's never been because of a lack of support from the community, so that's a good thing. As for new businesses coming in, building owners tell me that they get phone calls all the time. So if a space is vacant, it's usually because the building owner is waiting for that right fit for a business. So we have about a 6% first floor vacancy rate downtown, which is extremely low. That means we only have a couple of first floor spaces that are available for rent. And usually they're snatched up very quickly. Others, the building owner is hoping for the certain kind of business to move in, and so they're willing to wait for a little while. And so we have a couple of vacancies right now, but they'll be filled by other businesses coming in.
right around the corner is First Friday coming up in December. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect on this First Friday coming up?
It's one of our favorite times of the year. So Holiday Magic on Main Street will be December 3rd, 5:30 to 8:30 in downtown Wadsworth, and it has everything you would expect from a holiday event perspective. We're going to have horse and carriage rides. We're going to have the tree lighting ceremony with the mayor and Salvation Army at 6 o'clock, with the Wadsworth High School band performing from 5:30 to 6. We're going to have carolers. We're going to have hot chocolate and all kinds of wonderful things to do on the sidewalks while you're shopping and you're dining with your family and friends and just having a great time in small town America.
And you don't have to be a Wadsworth resident to come and enjoy.
No, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because, our social media reaches about 50,000 people every month. And we have visitors come downtown and we ask them where they're from, and some of them say Cleveland, and some of them say Youngstown, and some of them come from out of town because they're visiting friends and family, or they just saw it on social media and they wanted to be a part of it. Our downtown events are free and they are family friendly, and we want everyone, regardless of socioeconomic status, to be able to come downtown and have a wonderful time with their family and not spend any money. So it's just a great opportunity to bring the community together and celebrate Christmas.
Where else do you advertise and try to get it out besides social media?
Sure.
WCTV, of course. Do we send out flyers and try? Word of mouth is probably the best, isn't it?
Word of mouth is good. When you do First Fridays, the calendar is very predictable because you always know the event's going to be on the first Friday of the month, 12 months a year. But we actually do press releases for all of our events, and those go out to dozens and dozens of different news and media outlets. So the Cleveland news stations actually do know about all of our events. Sometimes they come downtown and cover our events. We have Wadsworth Community Radio. Tom Stugmeyer is excellent at covering our events. And WCTV, of course, is wonderful, Joanna and her team. But honestly, between social media and our press releases going out to these dozens of different outlets, we're pretty well covered.
That's really good to know. What about the finances? Can people contribute to Main Street Wadsworth?
Absolutely. So as a 501c3 nonprofit, we do rely on donations from the community. Our funding structure is really about 3 different parts. We receive municipal funding from the city. And so that's very much appreciated. We receive funding from sponsors. We have some very generous companies, corporations in the area that provide sponsorships, which is wonderful. And then we have event income. So when we bring in food trucks for a couple of the events, when we bring in different things like that, we charge registration fees, and that helps us to raise money. We also have a Friends of Main Street Wadsworth program where people can show their support for the community for donating, once a year to become a friend of Main Street Wadsworth. And all that information is on our website, mainstreetwadsworth.org. I think to become a family or an individual member, it's $25 for the year. A nonprofit is $75, and a business is $125. So again, anyone who's interested in supporting us as a friend can go on our website and find out more information.
Since you talked about Friends of Main Street Wadsworth, I saw the library. I just happen to have this with me, and you don't do this alone. There's all sorts of groups, including the library and Medina County groups, and that probably gives you a lot of impetus for your success.
Absolutely. So we do not operate in a vacuum. So a lot of local organizations partner with us to do what we do. So for example, Nicole Moore, who is the deputy at the library, she's going to be our promotions chair next year. She'll be helping us steer the events. So that's one example of someone who is really making a difference in the downtown. But the library helps us. Every organization you can imagine in the community is involved with us in some way. During November, our first Friday was to help other local nonprofits, and so we had the different downtown businesses collect things for local nonprofits downtown, and so it's just a way to bring everyone together in our downtown district to make a difference.
I would imagine that when we have the 4th of July concert at the CIS and the Veterans Day Parade and those other types of activities, the library has concert series. I imagine that indirectly helps you because it gets people downtown and people say, wow, this is pretty nice down here, we'll come back.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of really wonderful things happening downtown that not just Main Street Wadsworth is putting on. There are a lot of organizations providing things. There's always something happening. There's always live entertainment, and we're just excited for the new things happening. The Blue Tip Barbecue just opened last month here, and they're going to be providing live music on multiple nights during the week. I think they can hold 400 or 500 people inside of their buildings. That's just a beautiful facility. They're located on Lyman Street, 130 South Lyman, for anyone who wants to look them up. So the Blue Chip Barbecue is just an example of one more business that's opening, that's providing those really great experiences to the community.
Can you give us a maybe preview of a month in 22 that you're really looking forward to? I know this is probably opening the box a little early, but maybe there's one month that you can't wait to go ahead and have the community enjoy.
Sure. So that reminds me of something that we just unveiled last month. We actually had a space mural, an outer space mural, unveiled in our alley between the Strand and Dr. Boyer here on Broad Street. And it's a dedication to Wadsworth's connections to outer space. So we are actually, as a tribute to that, we are going to be doing an outer space themed First Friday next year, and we'll pull in the mural as part of that exciting event. We're going to have NASA involved and some other exciting things. So be watching for our space-themed First Friday next year. We will be unveiling our 2022 event calendar next month.
Well, that is really interesting. That will be exciting. Certainly, Wadsworth does have that connection in outer space, and certainly Main Street Wadsworth really means a lot, and people look forward to it. They just can't wait.
Yes, First Friday is really a great opportunity for the community to come together, and that's what we're all about, is community building. Our mission is to create an unmatched downtown experience, and that's what we want to do for our community. We want people to bring their friends and family down here to create memories and just to celebrate being part of this community.
What about employment? Sometimes it's very difficult to get people to go ahead and help, especially small businesses. Does Main Street Wadsworth help in that area at all?
So with our social media account, we actually share posts from businesses in the area. If they need new staff members, for example, we will repost their posts where they are looking for new staff, because that is a big issue, especially with the restaurant industry. Finding people to staff small businesses is a huge, huge challenge right now. So we're doing what we can to help.
Yeah, sometimes they have to cut their hours, and
Yes.
unfortunately, it really the wait time maybe to get service is a little bit slower, and people aren't quite as patient as they once were.
It's true. That is very true, but we're doing what we can.
Okay, what about down the road? Where do you see Main Street Wadsworth in 5 years?
Oh my gosh. Main Street Wadsworth in 5 years is going to be, it's quite a vision. It's going to be a district where we have even more businesses open, more merchants, more restaurants, hopefully. I would love to see CIS, once it ceases to become a school, I would love to see that become a community center for everyone in Wadsworth. I would love to see O.J. Work Auditorium preserved and used as a performing arts center for the community. I would love to see better use of the public spaces in downtown. I would love to see a park, a pavilion, an amphitheater, an ice skating rink during the winter, all of those different opportunities. So I think that the future is bright for the downtown. I think we're moving in the right direction, and I am excited for the future.
You put a lot of thought and effort into that. I can tell that you really, this isn't something that has not been thought about, and you're bored. And do people give you ideas?
All
the community
time.
members give you ideas for the month?
All the time, and we ask the community for ideas. We get emails, we get phone calls, we get social media posts all the time, and we use everything we get. We read every single message, and sometimes we have created like First Friday themes after comments we've gotten from the community. So we are definitely tuned into what the community wants, and we're doing our best to listen.
A lot of creative people in Wadsworth, a lot of retirees that really have some good ideas and workable ideas that you can put into effect. Where did you get the idea about NASA being involved in the Space Month?
Wow, that's a great question. So we have a very passionate community that cares about space. We have a couple of companies in the area that are connected through the Aero space industry, a couple of corporations, including Clamco, which is our premier sponsor. They actually have products that are on the International Space Station. And so in addition to that, we also have connections to several astronauts that have gone to space, namely Mike Foreman.
Yes.
This is his hometown. So there are all of these different things that have connected Wadsworth to space. So we even had a May the 4th Be With You, First Friday a couple of years ago in 2018 was our first space event, and NASA Glenn actually brought all of their stuff down from NASA Glenn and set up in the Strand Theater. We actually had the moon rock here as well. So there was a lot of positive comments from the community that they wanted us to bring a space event back. So a couple of years later now, we're going to bring another space event to the downtown to really highlight Wadsworth's connections to space.
Great education for the young men and women of Wadsworth, and maybe we can maybe have more astronauts right around the corner. You never know.
It's funny you mention that, because there is a space camp that happens in Wadsworth each year. The Higher Orbits program comes in. There is a nonprofit called Higher Orbits that actually Tom Stugmeyer, who runs a radio station, partners with, and Mike Foreman, our hometown astronaut, gets involved, and they actually do a STEM camp for the students here in Wadsworth. And the best project that the students comes with actually gets flown on the International Space Station. So there's a lot of attention paid to space here in Wadsworth, and we're just excited to be along for the ride.
Sometimes we underestimate what Wadsworth can do, but we are a great community, as you've mentioned, very vibrant as the downtown. And
Yes.
Thank you very much, Adrianne. I really enjoyed the show today. This is Bruce on the Loose, and we will have another show right around the corner.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.